Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be making 2 strips the size of your wrist using ladder stitch. So to begin, I have some thread on my needle and use a comfortable amount of thread. You're only going to need 1 needle, but use a comfortable amount because you're going to have to be adding thread anyway. So it's best to start with about 3 or 4 feet. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 4 of my 8/0s. And I'm sorry if I keep clearing my throat or sniffling. I've been having trouble with this sinus infection and sore throat. So I'm getting over it, but I still might from time to time be clearing my throat and sniffling. So I have my 4 seed beads on. I'm going to go through 2 just to show you how it's going to look. So 2 from the 4 that we added. And now this is going to place 2 groupings side by side. And then I'm going to go down these again. And we are going to be going down our project a few times, so we will be like reinforcing it. Okay, so I'm going to go down these 2 again. So that's going to put my 2 groupings of 2 like that. Now I'm going to pick up 2 more 8/0s. And I'm coming down from the bottom here. I have 2 8/0s on my needle, and I have 2 8/0s on my needle, and I'm just going to circle around and go through these again, the ones where I'm coming out of again. Okay, so that now I have 3 groupings of 2. And I'm going to come out. I'm going to go up these 2 that I just added again. So there we go. Now I have 3 groupings of 2, and I'm going to add 2 more on my needle. Coming out through here, circling around, going in through here. And then down these 2 that I just added. And this is our ladder stitch. Okay, so now I have 4 groupings of 2. And you need to keep doing this until you have 2 strips, because you're going to do 1 strip. I already have 1, and then you're going to do 1 more. And you need to put enough to where it goes not completely around your wrist, because we still have to put our clasp. So I have about 1/2 inch. I have about 1/2 inch here to where between this end and this end of my beads. So I'm going to go ahead and do another strip. So go ahead and do your 2 strips of ladder stitch, and ladder stitch is pretty simple. It won't take you long, and then I'll meet you back.
How are hundreds of jewelry makers saving huge each month on premium jewelry making kits? With the Potomac Beads kit subscription, you'll receive 3 brand new kits every month for as little as $49.99. That gives you a savings of up to $70 per box on retail prices. And you get free shipping. And there's no long-term commitment. You can cancel at any time. Subscribe today and enjoy top quality kits and massive savings. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscriptions today, or click on the link below in the description to get links to get back to our website.
Okay, so I did my 2 strips, and while I was doing my strips, I did have to add thread. And then when I finished this 1 strip, I was using gray thread, and I ended up with a tail, and I went ahead and just left it because I didn't cut it, didn't burn it off, because we are going to have to put our 2 strips together, and I can just use this piece of thread to start doing that. Another thing that I did that you might want to not do is since I'm using light blue, I wanted to use gray. And I did remember to use gray on this one the whole way through. And then I forgot on this one and I used white. So just be careful, don't do that. And I don't think it will affect it too much because I still need to use white anyway when I, you know, later on when I add the here in between the middle part, because I'm going to use crystals. So I'm going to use white thread anyway. So it might not really affect it anyway, but it still kind of bothers me that I did one in gray and one in white. Okay. So I'm coming out here. I have a thread and it's coming out here, right there. Okay. And now we're going to attach these two strips together on one end. Okay. And we're going to do that by doing a little bit of herringbone. So I'm coming out here. I'm going to add 2 more 8-ohs. And then I'm going to go back up this side here, this seed bead. If you go through both, that's fine. You can just come down both. So adding those 2 and then coming down directly across. And here we go. And I'm coming out here. I need to add another grouping of herringbone. So I picked up 2 more 8-ohs. I'm coming out of here. You can see it. And I'm just going to go up this one. Put your beads to sit correctly. And then go this here, down 2. And I want to end up with 7 groupings of 2. So I have 1, 2 here, right? And then the 1, 2 from this strip, and then 1, 2. So I have 6. I'm going to add 1 more. So 2 more 8-ohs. And I'm trying to get some 8-ohs that look pretty much the same. I don't like when one is a little thin. Okay, here up. And if they don't want to sit right, that's fine. Just make them sit. Everything will work out. Coming out of that second one, I'm going to go down these 2. And then I'm just going to connect this, all of this with my other strip of ladder stitch, okay? So I should have 5 groupings of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are my 7. So now we want to connect this with this. So all we're going to do is, and I'm just going to go down both of them. Like that. And then up these 2. And then I'm also going to connect these 2 here. These 2. And we are going to be going through these beads quite a bit because we still have to add our clasp. And when we add our clasp, that's going to put more thread in them. So you don't have to go crazy reinforcing and reinforcing just yet. Okay, but I am going to go ahead and do this here. Go through all of these 3. And I'm probably not in frame. Okay, I am now. All right. So now they're connected, okay? And now we're going to do our embellishing down the middle. Now we're not going to connect this end just yet, okay? And you'll see why as we progress. So since I'm going to be using 6 millimeter crystal rounds, we're going to start embellishing. I'm going to skip. We're going to go up these, of course, these beads, right? I don't want to go through and start here because I want to leave a little bit of room on my, because if I start there, then this is going to be like really squished. So I'm going to start here, okay? So go ahead and get yourself situated and we'll start our embellishing. So I'm coming down here from the bottom, and as I said, I want to be coming out, going up this way out of this bead. I'm coming out here, so I'm just going to have to do, I'm going to go up these two, and then down these two, because I want to be coming up these two. All right. And sewing through your project like that, through your project like that, it's not hard since you have your ladder stitch, you can just easily snake through beads like that. Okay, so I'm coming out, not this first grouping of 2 in my little window, through the second grouping. And I'm gonna pick up a 15-0, a 6mm crystal, a 15-0, and then I'm going to go up the beads across. And then I went ahead and I just went through both of them. And now I'm going to come down my 8-0s next to it. I'm going to pick up another 15-0. And I'm using gray. I should have used white. That's okay. I don't think it'll show. It actually does show, but it doesn't look too bad. Coming out of those 8-0s next to the ones I just went through. Picked up another 15-0. We're going to share our crystal, and don't catch the 15-0 after it. And then we're going to pick up another 15-0. And we need to put a string down the 8-0s next to the ones that we were working before. So there we go. So that embellishes, that's our first embellishment. And now we're gonna add another one. Now okay, we're coming out here, right? I don't wanna go up these two and then add another crystal, because they're gonna be too crowded, and they're gonna end up looking like let me show you a little bit. They're gonna be touching, and some of them might even look like they're popping out a little bit. It'll be kind of weird. So instead of going in through our next unit, we need to be we need to skip one and then come out the next one. So to do that, I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna go up these, I'm coming out here, right? I'm gonna go up these 8-0s, and then my 15, and then my crystal, and then I'm going to up, down, and then I'm going to go up the 15-0s here, and then up those 8-0s, and then down. And so this is what I mean, that we're gonna be going through these 8-0s a lot. So next to them, and then up again these two, because remember we need to skip a unit, and now we're gonna come down the unit, the little unit next to those. And when I say unit, I mean like groupings of 2. So now here I am ready to do my next crystal. I'm gonna pick up a 15-0, a 6mm bead, and then another 15-0, and then I'm going to go straight down into these 8-0s. And remember that we're skipping one. Remember, because we worked with these two here. Let me see. Because we worked with these two here, we're skipping this one, and we're coming down through this one. So let's do that. And see, this puts our 6mm crystals, it leaves just a tiny little space here, but it looks really pretty when it's on. It's like just the right amount of space. So, and the fact that I'm using gray after I've used white here, I might end up covering these little white threads a little bit since I'm using the gray now. So kind of got about that. Okay, so coming out here, I'm gonna go up these two next to it, and I'm gonna pick up a 15-0. Then we're going to share the 6mm crystal, and then we're going to pick up another 15-0, and then we're going to go up these 2 8/0s right here, which are the ones next to the ones we were using earlier. Okay, so there we go. And now we have to put on our next crystal. Sorry about that. That was my puppy. She's new, she's baby. Okay, so now we need to get into position to be coming out of these beads, okay? So in order to do that, we're going to go back. We're coming out here, right? Here, this 8/0. We're gonna go in through these 8/0s, through this 15/0, the crystal, the 15/0, down these 8/0s, up these 8/0s, down this one, and then up through these, and that will get us into position to put our next crystal. So go ahead and fill in your little window here until you get to the end. And then I will meet you back when I'm done too. Okay, I already added all of my crystals here in the middle. And now I do have room for one more, but if I do that, then I am going to have to add these 2 more rows of 8/0s over here on this end, because I'll just have enough room to skip this grouping and then put my crystal here, and then I still have to add another grouping, because remember how we have this space here, this space here, and then I'd have to add these 2 groupings here. So it's going to make my bracelet longer. So that might sound a little bit confusing, but once you start working on your bracelet, you'll know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do, and see, like this, I have enough to where, see here, see right that, this is the grouping that, like this, so like over here, so right there. And then now here, I only have 1 grouping of 8/0s here, and here I have 2. So I just have to add 1 more up here, because obviously I didn't make it quite as long as I didn't make this one quite as long as I did this one, but that's fine. I just need to add 2 more 8/0s here on the end, and then I can do my little herringbone here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to add my 2 more 8/0s here, and then I'm going to close it up by doing my herringbone, and then that's going to complete this part of my bracelet. So I'm going to do that, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I already added my 2 here that I needed, and I'm coming out through here, right there. So I'm just going to make my way here, coming out of one of these beads. So I'm just going to sew down here, again, stinking my way through my bracelet, and then up these 2, and then down these 2, and then now I'm going to close it up the way I did this side over here, okay, by doing my herringbone. And I'm just going to do three groupings of herringbone. Okay, so I'm coming out here. I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to go up both of them. It's just easier. And then set them in place. And then down. Okay. And then make those sit right. And then I'm going to get 2 more. So this is why I didn't close up my bracelet at the beginning, because I didn't know if my 2 strips were the same length, or if I would need to, if I was going to add another crystal. And because if I was, I needed to make sure that I had the right amount of groupings. That way I can leave my little space here at the end, though I have my space over here. So, and like I said, as you're working on this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So I just need 1 more grouping of herringbone. And then that will close up my bracelet, and then we can do our embellishing. And I'm just gonna go up these two. It's all right. Ah, okay. You know, I can do it that way too, actually. You know what? Let's just do that. I can just do square stitch rather than take it out. And I'm getting all my threads that I have. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do I have 8? Okay, I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm coming out and I have a few threads here from when I added thread. So, and I haven't burned them down yet, but I'm coming out here in the very end. And so what I'm going to do now is do this little, like how I did that there on the edges of my bracelet. I'm going to do that now here. So I'm coming out here and I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a 15-0, and an 11-0. And I'm going to go down into, coming out of this 8-0, I'm going to go into the one next to it. And I'm going to go ahead and go in through these two. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to hop on up to these 8-0s next to it. And now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and a 15-0. And I'm going to share this 11-0 here, this one. And I'm going to go down, straight down into those 8-0s again. So that brings another string into our ladder stitch. So this is what we have, and I'm just going to set these down so they sit right. And actually, you see how these 8-0s are kind of like a little bit far apart? I'm going to go through those 8-0s, but just the 8-0s again. I'm not going to go through the little seed beads that I just added. That's just to bring them closer. And you could do this on this step. Like if you see groupings of 8-0s that are too far apart, or maybe they're too loose, so they look too far apart, you can fix them. You can fix them. There are several steps throughout this bracelet where you can fix them. I'm just going to fix them now. Okay, so now I'm going to be coming out of this grouping here. And then I'm going to go straight up through that 11-0. And now, since I'm coming out of the 11-0, now, coming out of that 11-0, I'm going to pick up a 15-0 and another 11-0. And I'm going to go down into the groupings right here, right next to the ones I'm coming out of. And just those two 8-0s, do not catch your 15-0. I'm so sorry about that with my throat. Okay, so coming out here, I'm going to go up these 8-0s. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix these 8-0s here too. So I'm just going to go, I'm not going to catch the seed beads that I just picked up. I'm just going to go straight down these 8-0s again to kind of bring them together to make them neater. And I'm going to go up these 8-0s. Up the, well, I wasn't able to catch it. Up the 11-0. Let me just flip it around so I can see better. Up the 11-0. Here. That's straight up. Oh, I just snagged my glasses. Okay. And then now I'm going to go down this 15-0 and then down this 11-0 here. Down these 8-0s. And then I'm going to come up through the elos, through the 8-O's next to those. Here. And I am ready to do my little embellishment again. Okay. I'm going to pick up, coming out of these 8-O's, I'm going to pick up an 11-O and a 15-O. And I'm going to go down this 11-O here. And then I'm just going to come up this 8-O's here, these 8-O's here, and up through this 11-O that's right on top. Coming out of that 11-O, I'm going to pick up a 15-O and an 11-O again. Whoops. 15-O and an 11-O. And again, I'm coming out of this 11-O. I'm going to go down these 8-O's here. Okay. Now from there, I'm going to go up these 8-O's. And then once again, I'm going to pick up an 11-O and a 15-O. And then I'm going to go down this 11-O and down these 8-O's again. So just keep repeating this step till you've added seed beads all along the edge of your bracelet. Do both sides, and then we will put the clasp on the other part of our clasp on together. Okay, I finished adding my seed beads all along the edge of my bracelet, and now I'm coming out here through this second grouping here. I'm going to go ahead and sew all through these beads, and I'm going to come out of my third one here. All right. So, and then I'm going to, from there, I'm going to begin to attach my clasp. So you don't need to worry about going through your 11-O's and 15-O's. You can just hop on over to straight to your 8-O's. So I'm going to come out of my third seed bead, and then I'm going to add an 8-O and an 11-O. And then I'm going to go through my clasp, go through my beads, or through one of the loops of my clasp. And you can use whatever kind of clasp you want. Doesn't have to be this kind, but I really like these clasps with these bracelets. Okay, now I'm coming out of my 8-O, and I'm gonna go back this way through my 8-O where I started, and I'm going to reinforce by going up everything, which would be the 8-O bead, the 11-O, going through the clasp. And I really like this gray dragon thread because it just melts into these beads. Since I'm using this blue color, well, the color is actually semi-glazed rainbow. It's a Toho and it's semi-glazed rainbow. So, okay, now I'm coming back, and then I'm going to go through this seed bead here, which would be my my 5th seed bead, which would be the 3rd one from the other end. And I'm going to do that again by picking up an 8-O, an 11-O, going through this part, through this little loop of my clasp, and I'm just going to drop that 11-O, and then I'm going to go back through my beads, and then I'm going to pull, and then I'm going to go back through this 8-O where I started, and I'm going to reinforce everything again. I'm holding it and pulling. So I'm going to go through everything, and then I'm going to come down and go back through that 8-0. Oh, go back through the seed beads. I'm going to go through this 8-0, come out, and then I'm going to tie a knot, and then I will meet you back and we'll look at our bracelet. Okay, so I finished my bracelet, and this is how it looks on, and I think it looks very pretty. And this is how it looks. You can see the whole bracelet here like this. So it's not hard, it's pretty simple, and I just like it a lot. Now, I also did one like this, where I did the middle part a little bit differently. Here I use 6mm crystals. On this one I use 4mm. And here where we skipped a space in between, where we skipped like a little grouping of 8-0s in between, on this one I didn't. I just came out of every single grouping of 8-0s. I did share the crystals. I did make a mistake on this. I forgot to share one of my crystals. So, but you can't even tell, so, you know. But anyway, you do share your crystals. I did use, when I came out of my 8-0s, I used an 11-0 instead of a 15-0. Then my 4mm crystal, an 11-0, went up my 8-0s, came down. Another 11-0, shared my crystal, 11-0, and then down. And then up and right next to the next grouping of 8-0s, and I did the same thing all over again. And then when I came after that, I did one more embellishment. I just went through my crystals. I just snaked through my crystals. I would come out like that. I would add four 15-0s, and then I would just go down through my next crystal in the opposite direction. So, and that would set my little 15-0s in place there. But I like them both. I don't know which one I like better. I like them both a lot. So, and I also did a black one. And I used, you don't have to use crystals. I did another one with pearls. On this one, this is smoky quartz, which I love smoky quartz. It's so pretty. And I used the I think it's called Smoke Picasso. Well, it's just black Picasso 8-0s. These are Miyukis, these are Miyukis, these are Tohos. And you can use either Miyuki or Toho 8-0s. I did use only Miyuki 11-0s and 15-0s. And you can use whatever kind of clasp you want. And again, I like these. I think these look great on this type of bracelet. So this is what I have. I hope you enjoy making this. And thank you very much for watching.